Hey everybody, this is Speak New Life Coaching. My name is Davina and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to ask this simple thing. Are you tired of waiting? Waiting for the car, waiting for the job, waiting for the husband, waiting for the breakthrough? Because if you are tired of waiting, this video may be one of the most important videos you're about to watch. Because you say, what if the breakthrough for your prayer wasn't in praying harder, but actually it was more involved in serving smarter? Yes, that's right. I just said it. Serving. Could serving actually be the answer to your breakthrough? Because as some of you know, I just did a video on Saturday where I was talking about myself and Kevin being in Prague for Beyond Success, and part how we managed to get to Prague to be serving at Beyond Success, right? And it's just quite an interesting thing. And there was a number of thoughts that was just going through my mind in terms of like how God answers prayer. And oftentimes we think that it's going to be like this linear process, right? From A to B, that God is actually going to take us from A to B and it's going to be pretty straightforward. But one of the things that I realized when I was out there is like, God doesn't necessarily work like that, right? And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video, because I had never been to Prague before, but in my imagination, as naive as I am, right? I had a picture of Prague and the people that were in Prague. So we ended up at this conference, which was a youth conference, but it was a youth conference that was put together by a Nigerian church. So the majority, if not all of the kids there, and the majority of the adults that were with them were of Nigerian ethnicity, Nigerian ethnicity or some level of African ethnicity, right? Some were from, I believe, Cameroon and South Africa and various other places, but the majority were Nigerian. Now, dare I say, in my mind, in my imagination, when I thought of Prague, I never ever thought that we would be in a place where the majority of people there were black. Now, why is this important for the story? It could be important. It may not be important, but stick with me. I'm just going to go through something real quick. Here's the thing. When somebody told us about Beyond Success, we didn't know what Beyond Success was. We didn't have a clue what it was. We just knew that somebody said it was a John Maxwell program, and this is, something that you could look into. So we ended up going to the meeting. I ended up finding out about it, and then that's how we got entangled, as it were, with the Beyond Success. Now, when Kevin found out about it, because he wasn't there directly at the time, he got so excited about it and he took this thing on, and he has been the one that has been pushing this thing through and ensuring that everything has been set up wonderfully. Emails are going out, people that are signing up are being contacted, and everything has been put together pretty much by my husband, right? He's been extremely passionate about this Beyond Success thing, but we didn't know that this was going to lead us, right, to a place where we were going to end up in Prague. We didn't know that this was going to lead us beyond what we thought we were doing, right? But the reason why I'm sharing this is because, as I said, the things of God aren't A to B. They're not linear, right? In terms of God has a way of mapping out a path that isn't necessarily clear right in front of us, right? So when we say yes at the beginning, we don't actually know the full picture of what he's up to, but we know that he's up to something, right? And so I know that there are a number of you who are asking the simple question like, God, where is my husband, right? And as children of God, as daughters of God, we can be tempted to fall into the same pattern of doing things the way that the world does things, right? So when somebody who doesn't know God perhaps, or somebody who's just in the world and they don't really know that there's another way or another process in which to do something, they will then go out hunting for what? It may be man hunting, right? It may be job hunting. It may be house hunting. There's always this level of hunting that is required. You have to go out seeking the thing that it is that you desire in order to ensure that you get the thing that it is that you desire, right? But I got to thinking, is that actually how we as children of God are supposed to be operating? Or is there a higher way in which to achieve and receive what it is that we're desiring, right? And it brought to mind Matthew 6:33, where it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things shall be added unto you, right? Because as I mentioned before, we ended up in Prague and we was at this youth event where there was a lot of African nationalities, right? And so say if your desire was to have an African husband, say if your desire was to have a black husband, you wouldn't necessarily think that your husband would be in Prague, right? You wouldn't especially if you're not from Prague, especially if you've never even been to Prague, have no intention of going to Czech Republic or Czechia, as I believe it's called now. You wouldn't necessarily think that. But what if your husband was there? But in order to meet him, you first had to say yes to this thing over here, which seems completely disconnected to anything that's way over there, right? And the moment you say yes to this, then you start building this out and focusing on this. Why? Because God is asking you to do what? He's asking you to serve over here, right? So you begin serving over here. It may be women, it may be children, it may be older people, it may be whoever, I don't know. Whatever it is, it may be at your job, it may be wherever, right? And God is asking you to show up and serve here. And you're thinking, but Lord, I'm asking you for a husband. I'm asking you for a job. I'm asking you for something. Right? Why are you over here asking me to do this? But this is the thing that we have to get to. We have to know that he knows everything. He sees everything. He is aware. And as I shared on one of the past videos, he is able to connect dots, right? That is what he does. He is a master planner. Our Father is a master planner. And when we simply say yes because we trust him, he is able to lead you and guide you into what he has for you, right? So it's like you say yes to this. The next thing, another opportunity presents itself and you get a pull on the inside of you saying, say yes to that, right? Again, it doesn't look like it's connected to anything that you've asked from him, anything that you've prayed about. It doesn't look like there's any form of connection whatsoever. Don't worry about it. Just say yes. If you believe and know and trust that this is God, right, and you're stepping out in faith, don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about what it seems connected to. People may call you stupid. People may say that there's nothing there for you. Why would you do that? That's not going to take you any closer to what it is that you're seeking. It may even look like you're going down before you go up, right? That's the way that God works. That's the way that God would have us to do these things. But we are to show up and serve one another. We are to show up and love on one another, right? Because I was reading, or actually I wasn't reading, it was an audio book, and it was an audio book by Dr. Rabbi Daniel Lapin, I believe, and it's a business principles or business secrets from the Bible. I think that's what it is. Business secrets from the Bible. And in his book, right, and I wrote it down so I could remember it, it simply says, so God's system is designed in such a way that our needs are met through meeting the needs of others, right? And what this says to me is that the moment you take yourself out of the center, the moment you stop making this thing about you and what you want and what you're trying to get, and you begin to see other people in front of you, you begin to serve other people in front of you, you begin to love on other people according to what God's instructing you to do, what to say, even if it seems as though you're taking a step backwards, even if it seems stupid, even if it seems like you're going backwards instead of forwards, don't worry about it. Trust God. He knows how to connect the dots, right? Because I've shared in a previous video about how, sometimes I just have like these role play moments in my mind or have you. And then it's like, there may be a church where it's buzzing and it's happening and everybody wants to be there. But yet God's asking you to go to this stale dead church over here, which seems to have... I shouldn't say stale and dead, right? But anyway, it seems to have nothing but like old people in there and nothing seems to be going on. It's like, God, why would you have me to be here? Why would you have me to be here when the life is over here? Because he knows you. He knows your future and he knows what he has for you. And he knows what is required for the alignment, the perfect alignment for you to step into what he has for you. And even as I'm sharing this, I'm thinking about Ruth, right? Ruth, the book of Ruth, and Ruth and Naomi. Now, there was an opportunity for Ruth to remain and stay in something that she knew, to go back to. But she chose to go with Naomi. She chose to go with miserable Naomi back to the land where Naomi came from and left Moab, right? Now, there probably was a lot of eligible men where she was at who were willing to take on a widow and support her and, like, you know, start a whole new life. But she made up her mind that she was going to go with the miserable old woman Naomi, right? Her mother-in-law, not knowing why, because she trusted the God who Naomi called on, right? She trusted the God who Naomi said is the Lord of all. So she just went. She followed where God was leading. And then that is where she met her Boaz, right? That was where she met her Boaz. And she wouldn't have met Boaz back in Moab. But she wouldn't have known about Boaz either. So she wouldn't even have known what she missed out on. But she has been written into the genealogy of Jesus because she chose to go to a place where it didn't seem that much fun. There was a lot of uncertainty. Why am I doing this? Her family members were probably like, you don't need to follow Naomi. Like, your husband's died. You have no obligation to her now whatsoever. But she said, I'm going to go. I'm going to go and I'm going to follow Naomi. And she wasn't even following Naomi for the sake of gaining a husband. She wasn't following Naomi in the sake of, like, you know, being brought into a place where she was going to be taken care of and looked after. She was going to serve Naomi, right? And in that, God aligned everything. So when I'm sharing this, it's like, who's to say what God has for you and where he has it? But don't jump into the conclusion that just because in your church, in your neighborhood, in your workplace, in your community, supposedly there are no supposedly eligible men, or there are no jobs, or there are no opportunities, whatever it may be, don't buy into that. Don't buy into that. It's not true. It's not true. But wherever God is leading you, know that he has the ability to align you to everything that he has for you. And all it takes is for you to keep showing up and serving, right? And so I just want to read this verse to you. It's Galatians 6 verse 9. It says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Now, there are a number of factors here. It says, let us not grow weary in doing good. Don't give up serving. Don't give up loving. Don't give up, like, serving the person in front of you and showing up and choosing to be your best self, because this is the promise. He says, at the proper time. At the proper time, at appointed time, he says, you will. It doesn't say you may, it doesn't say you might. It says you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. What are you reaping a harvest on? Whatever you have sown. Whatever you have sown, right? And so know that if you continue to do this, God is more than able to align you to everyone and everything that he has for you, including that husband that you have been praying for and believing for, right? Whatever he tells you to do that. Now, I have nothing against dating apps. If he tells you to go on a dating app, go on a dating app. If he tells you to go to a certain place, go to a certain place. Whatever it is he's asking of you, just do that. Just do that and watch him work on your behalf. It's very exciting. And so that just brings me to the whole point of, like, you know, in a past video, I asked you to type in the comments and just say, you know, God, where is my husband? Now, this is the thing. Kevin and I have been working on something and we are extremely excited to share it with you. It's not quite ready yet, but we'll be able to share some of the details of what we're up to. And we hope that you are just as excited about it as we are. So this is the thing. Kevin and I's desire is to serve you lot. You know, just as I was saying here, serve the people that God brings your way, right? We believe that God has brought you our way. If you're watching this video, we believe that God has brought you our way, and our desire is to serve you, It's just to show up and serve, right? And so Kevin and I have some exciting things that we want to invite you into, because our desire is to serve you and to serve you as best as we know how to do. But I just want to leave you with this one thing. Be encouraged that God sees the entire picture. We may only get to see one stitch in the tapestry, one stitch at a time, but God has seen the whole thing. And He is the one that is weaving, knitting, stitching, sewing this thing together. And when we stand back and look at everything that He has been up to throughout our lives and in this season, we will say and declare it is a marvelous, marvelous thing indeed. God loves you. Kevin and I love you. And we are excited to do this life with you. So if this video has encouraged you at all, just type encouraged in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.